Okay, cool.
Oh, that's nice and clean. Okay, is everybody... Okay. I need to set up my mic real quick.
That was
It'll be like 60 seconds.
yeah, the federal. Tuesday. Yeah. Hey, it was a tactical, move. You call?
Adam, answer some questions.
Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check.
First to go, last to know. Just give me 1 second.
Check, 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 check.
Yeah, just I think so.
Check, check. You good on just a general statement? Okay. Check, check. You
Give me like 1 minute and we'll be good. Hey, you got my signal up for the slide compressor?
I assume they're rolling on this also?
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Could you let them know they're about to start? Alright, they're about to start. Alright, thank you.
Everyone good?
You guys good? Yeah.
okay? Excellent. All right, we're going to have the Federal On-Scene Coordinator, the Unified Command. It's Coast Guard Commander Efren Lopez. That's EFREN LOPEZ. He's going to give a brief statement, and then he's going to take some questions. I encourage you to please keep it to one question, one follow-up, so that he can get back to the response.
Good afternoon, Commander Efren Lopez, U.S. Coast Guard. So this afternoon, as we were conducting cutting operations, shortly after lunchtime, we had a fire break out within the hull. That fire was, they tried to suppress it. We do have a firefighting equipment on board, but the fire spread among the vehicles. We continue to fight that fire. During that process, we have evacuated non-essential personnel from the VB 10,000. All those members have been brought back to shore safely. Nobody has been injured. All our firefighting efforts are continuing on, and they'll continue on until the fire is completely out.
Can you talk real quick about the environmental concerns about, where specifically in the ship the fire started, and again, how many cars can you estimate that the fire is impacted?
So we don't know how many vehicles have been affected or have even been burning right now. It's too hard to tell because of the intense heat that's within the hull itself. So the environmental concern is minimal right now, since all the fires are on the top decks, so they're not on at the seafloor or at the sea level. We are using the seawater to put those fires out, so we are not using any kind of chemicals that could affect the environment.
Do you know how is the wind going to impact your firefighting efforts?
The environment and the wind is always a factor, and we're taking that in consideration right now. And if you notice, our vessels are positioned to use the wind in their favor.
Can you also talk about, you mentioned the seawater is being used to put out the fire, but are there any other usages that are being used to put out the fire, and are there any concerns about those? We heard that some may have been used, like some toxic fire contaminants. Have you heard anything about that?
No, we're not using any of those chemicals. We're using the seawater to actually put the fires out.
Commander, you said you were cutting. Can you tell us the nature of the cutting you were doing? Was it cutting torches?
No, it's the normal cutting process, which is use of an anchor chain, and that friction is what's used to cut the ship itself.
So this started from the friction of the chain, you believe?
It could be from the friction. It could have been going through a vehicle and hitting a battery. There's all sorts of different methods for a fire to break out, and that's still going to be determined later on.
I know that you said that there were no environmental concerns with the water, but how about what's going into the air right now? Is there any concerns?
We are monitoring the air quality, and we have not seen anything that brings any kind of concerns to us, but we'll continue to monitor the air both at the wreck site and on the shoreline.
Is the integrity of the ship at stake?
Once the fire is extinguished, we'll have to do a reevaluation of the hull itself and determine if the integrity of the ship has been affected.
Now I know there's boats out here, but I also saw a helicopter. Could you maybe explain what that's being used for?
So we do have an aviation unit, and they're supposed to provide information, intel to all the firefighters online, as well as a drone. So we're using all the tools available to us to fight this fire.
How about this affecting the timeline of the removal of the ship? How far back is this going to push you guys? Do you have any idea at this point?
No, sir, we don't. We don't have any ideas until we actually do a proper assessment after the fire is extinguished.
Can you tell us, there's been multiple fires on board, so what would this be the fourth, third, do you know? I mean, what was the exact record up until now?
I couldn't answer that. We've had multiple fires in the past, and we anticipated fires breaking out during the cutting process. That's why we have all the firefighting equipment on board and on the tugs that are on the operations here.
We got time for one more question? No? Good. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's grab it, Mike.
Got any follow-up questions? Please use the website's got contact information. You can also send texts to the numbers that's there. I recommend that as well.
Thank you guys very much. Well, we don't know. I mean, it could be the friction. It could be a battery. We don't. At this point, it's too early in the event to make that determination. Once we extinguish the fire, we're going to do a lot of investigation. And who knows? I mean, there may not be any evidence left to determine that. It's pretty intense right now.
You also said that it may have had a vehicle inside. How many vehicles are inside?
Oh, it's hard to say how many. I think they've been rough estimates, maybe 3, 4. I mean, it's hard to say.
A little over 1,000 have been removed.
Okay, 1,000 been removed?
Roughly, that's only from what we can tell from what we were doing from the weight shedding.
Okay.
And from some of the sections, but each section has several vehicles still inside it. And as we move to those sections, we're going to remove some of the vehicles prior to cutting, but there's going to be always.
And of course, those vehicles have fuel, oil, and batteries. Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all take care now.
I'm gonna move right there so we can go live.
That's cool. Thank you for grabbing my laptop.
I'm surprised Tommy's still working.
He's doing great work too.
I'm sure he is. He always was great. I'm surprised he hasn't retired.
that crane.
Burning it or what?
Yeah, I mean the thing's pretty sturdy, but I'm not. I'll have to ask.
Oh, that's my first thing.
You used to work with him, or?
Yeah,
Had one question.
And the letters say U.S. Coast Guard. Let's go now. Bob, check on what she got. They're in charge of making sure the water stays safe from fire.
He said they were cutting.
we're gonna move down here because like the key light, unfortunately, is in the bloody place.
Actually, I can carry the mic. Carry the mic.
Hey, Anthony. No, you good.